Well, hey everyone. I am already seeing just crazy chatter in the chat. I love it. I love logging into this and just seeing the chat blowing up from literally all over the world. I am Keith Farron, and I am calling in from, I guess, Seattle, Washington, here in the United States. I see people in Austria and Melbourne and someone saying small world and India. Everybody here, this is great. We've got some Americans, people all over the world. This is going to be all about QuickWrite and writing in general. And it's writing in general using QuickWrite, not all the other many things you could do with QuickWrite. So over time, I'm going to be doing more webinars. I've been talking with Glendon, and who's the affiliate manager for QuickWrite and for Adazing, the company, the parent company of QuickWrite, and CJ, the owner of the company. And these guys have created truly an amazing tool. When I first heard about ChatGPT and AI, I was just intrigued by it and started looking at so many different things. And I have just fallen in love with QuickWrite. I can tell you that I am not an employee of Adazing or QuickWrite. I'm just somebody who loves it and have gotten to know these guys. And I do with my whole company and ministry, I do a whole lot of live things and webinars and training and all that. And they just said, hey, would you like to hop on camera and just show people how to use it? And so I can tell you that these books right here are all the ones I've written. I just 2 weeks ago released my 13th book. And that's the only one that is recent enough that I was able to use some of QuickWrite's power. And I can tell you it saved me a bucket of time. More on that later. But here's kind of just a little bit of the housekeeping things, and then we will dive in. I know that people are all over. I saw someone saying it's 2 a.m. and somebody saying it was 7 in the morning, and people all over. And so you could be up in the middle of the night. You could have just started your day. I'm about to wrap up my day. When we're done here, go have some dinner with my family. But my goal here is to keep the kind of the primary teaching of this to be about an hour. And then I've blocked out 90 minutes, because what I would like to do is as I'm talking, as I'm walking through this, I want you to be able to jot down your questions. And Glendon, who's in the chat. So Glenn, you can see Glendon just wrote, he just typed in there 6 CST 4 PT is where we're at. And so Glendon is here to kind of help moderate this so that I'm not just focused on the chat, because we got well over 100 people in here watching this. And so if I'm always watching everything, we're going to be here forever. So one thing that will help Glendon and help me later with identifying these questions is if you've got a specific question about QuickWrite, then you are going to want to put 4 question marks before and after the question that you ask, so that it really stands out, so that we can just see it. When Glendon is scrolling through, then he can copy some of those. When it's time for Q&A, he can copy those and paste them. I've actually got my phone mounted here, and I've given Glendon my cell phone number so that he can text me if something's glitchy on my end, you're not able to see something, and then we can, I can clear that up. But the idea of this is I want to really focus on 4 pillars. There are so many things we could, it's not an exaggeration to say we could spend 5 to 6 hours and not cover everything that you could possibly do in QuickWrite. But this is for writers. I've taught people how to do research and background study and even Bible study using QuickWrite. But this is something that I want to look at 4 pillars. One is, how could you use this to help you in your fiction writing? Second, how can you use this to help if you're writing nonfiction? And then looking at the marketing side of it, how could you use it to help you with kind of crafting emails or supplemental materials or some of those kind of the marketing end of book writing and sales, as well as social media? How could it help you save some time in create better and even just things you would never think of? That's what I have found from QuickWrite, is that it just kind of blows me away the times that it triggers something that just gets me going. A lot of you, if you're in here and you're writers, it's something that you that sometimes it's the writing prompt that gets you going. So you can actually put in prompts that will give you writing prompts that will then let you kind of spark your creativity. And so anyhow, I see some questions are already coming through. That's great. What I will say is, for this webinar, with the time frame that we have, so this doesn't go all night long, this is not going to be a webinar where we're going to kind of discuss. You're already a QuickWrite user and you found something you want it to do something different or organize something different or some specific feature of that. Or kind of something about AI in general, things like that. We're not going to cover a lot of that. We're going to just focus entirely on writing and this tool specifically. So here's what I'm going to do for a vast majority of this time. I'm just going to be sharing my screen and show you under the hood. So is there anything? I see a bunch of questions coming through. Glendon, is there anything that I should, if you can type yes or no in the chat of whether there's anything that's been asked so far that I should address before I get started. That would be super helpful for me, just to know whether or not there's a question that is just about this webinar or about something like that. Because I see things about copyright issues, and I'm happy to address those later. Is it possible to entire 10-chapter manuscript and get QR to expand it? There something, so we can talk through some of those later on. But okay, so I don't see anything, Glendon. Okay, no. So we are going to jump in, and give me a thumbs up if you can see that screen. Everything good? You can't give me a thumbs up because I can't see you. So how about a yes if you can see this? All right. So when you log in, I'm going to walk you through the basic process of how QuickWrite, because it's different. It looks different than any other AI tool that you have used. You start, because this is for writers. This is thinking through for writers. And so what they've done is they not only have all these different kind of deep dive academy videos about certain features and a way that you can request a feature and those kinds of things, but your basic page is going to be where your documents are stored. So I've created these test documents that are on these 4 pillars that I mentioned. I was going to say fiction book, nonfiction book, marketing, promotion, or business sample, and social media sample. So I've created those ahead of time I've got some prompts in there that I want to show you. But basically what you're going to do is you would create a new project and it's going to launch. And so this is the basic layout, where everything that you enter in is going to be done in this first column. Then when you click generate content, it's going to generate that content and dump it into the middle column. And you can then simply do one of a couple things. You can highlight it and delete it if you didn't like what it kicked out. If you like it all, you can just click this green move content to editor and it puts it over in the third column. Or you can copy, just like in any other thing that you've ever used, you can copy and paste the portions that you like. So it's really versatile that way. And then it's got this editor, which is so powerful, because as you can see, if I don't know if I'm going to be able to zoom in, if it's going to change everything so much on here, but you've got bold and italics and bullets and quotes and headings and all those different kinds of things in there that that make it so that you're formatting it similar to the way you would do it in a Word document or in Google Docs. And so you can, and then let's just say, I'm just going to, just so that you would see what it is, I'm going to say, my test book. And then you just save that document. You see that it's saving here. And then once you've done that, it refreshes the page. You've got my test book. And then everything you create, it puts it into the editor. You click save document, because I'm guessing that most people here are not going to be writing their entire book or doing all of the research for their book or outlining doing everything in one sitting. So that is one of my favorite things about QuickWrite, is that you can save it, come back later, because now look, when I close my document here in this upper right-hand corner, you can now see my test book is right there. That was the most recent thing that I saved. And so that my test book, then you can just go in and do it again. So I'm just going to, as I mentioned, I'm going to walk through fiction, nonfiction, marketing, and social media, and just show you some of what you can do. Now, in this fiction book, the other thing that I wanted to show you, there's a glitch in my streaming software that when I click the drop down menu, you don't see it. So where you see up here in this upper left hand corner, Power Editor, when I click it, I see 9 different things, 8 or 9 different things, 9 different things, and you don't. So I just took quick snapshots to show you that in this blue part, QuickWrite actually operates right now in 6 different languages. So if you speak English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, or Spanish, there is a translator feature. It translates into 4. I'll show you that in a second. But for you using QuickWrite, what kind of prompts, what kind of drop downs, what the languages are, it works in these 6 languages out of the box. And then if you clicked that main Power Editor, this is what I see. So for some reason, StreamYard is not showing the drop down. So I just want to walk you through when you go to, so the Power Editor is that main drop down. This is everything you see: Power Editor, fiction writing, nonfiction writing, marketing, promotion or business, blog writing, translate content, humanizer, which makes it, we're not going to do a lot of sampling of that right now, but it takes AI generated content and makes it sound more human. Rewriting content, so you can put something in there and just have it come up with a different way to say it, to see different ways of saying the same type of thing, so that you can really brainstorm your own ideas in different words that you might not come up with on your own. And then another thing that a lot of the fiction writers really love is that this create AI image that's in there. The AI image generator, I'll show you a couple things, is unbelievable. And it's built right in. So if you're writing fiction and you want to kind of create a picture of a fantasy land or a dragon or a princess or whatever it is you want to create, you can do that right from within QuickWrite and keep this all in one place under the hood. Under fiction, which I'm going to show you, but again, when I'm selecting things, you're not going to be able to see the drop down. So I just wanted to show you, look at all of the different fiction writing things you can do. So once you've selected where that Power Editor main drop down is, when you select fiction writing, then this is what it looks like. Plot suggestions, create a character description, create a book title, book descriptions, rewrite existing book descriptions. So, if you're self-publishing and you are going to have it on Amazon, you want to have a really good book description. Well, this will write your book description for you, and then you can just tweak it, edit it, make it sound like you, all those kinds of things. I just happened to glance over the chat and saw one, can it design a book cover? I wouldn't use it to design a book cover. It is not to the point yet, QuickWrite or any AI, that is going to create a book cover that's actually going to convert to sales. And that's a whole nother thing that I could talk about later. But in this one, no, I would not use any AI tool to create a book cover if you actually want your book to sell. there's my opinion on that. Creating a unique name for character, location. So brainstorming ideas there, creating a story prompt, writing prompt. Remember I told you about that? And then creating something else. One thing I love about the way they've designed QuickWrite is when you're in your fiction writing mode and there's something that doesn't really fit one of these pieces of the drop-down menu, that creates something else, opens up within the fiction writing realm, if you will, of QuickWrite. It opens up its own power editor. So even when I'm in fiction writing and I go and I select create something else, now I have the power editor still within fiction writing, still within my same document, right? And so you can, if you've got some big long prompt you want to put in that doesn't fit one of those categories, you always have access to create your own powerful prompt from within there. And so you've got the fiction drop down. The nonfiction drop down has some similar things, right? Book titles, book descriptions, but also book outlines, chapter outlines, content sections, and then they all have create something else. So the power editor is built into every section. You don't have to go out of it to navigate back to the power editor. Love that. I'm not going to get into a lot on blog writing, but I'll mention something in the marketing section because I think people miss the power of some things you can do with a blog when you're trying to sell a book. So I'll get back to that. But you've got everything from brainstorming article ideas to SEO keywords and blog sections and conclusions and meta descriptions. I mean, all those things that most people either hire out or ignore completely, right? I know so many authors that completely ignore SEO, keywords, and meta descriptions, which is really an unfortunate mistake. And then the humanizer feature, basically you're pasting content in there that AI has generated and humanizing it, just what it is. Then there is a translate. And right now they've got it in 4 languages. So if you're writing a book or a blog post and you want to publish it in multiple languages, you can copy a whole big, huge chunk in there and get it into these 4 languages so far: Spanish, German, French, and Russian. And I can tell you, because I know CJ and Glendon, I got a pretty early release of Power Editor. And I remember the day that I logged in, they didn't even tell me. I don't know if they were trying to play a trick on me or whatever, but they didn't even tell me. I was logging in to do a demo of something else for somebody and saw that this translate feature was there with 4 different languages. And I went, oh my goodness. So I actually bought the rights back to the Spanish version of one of my books because my publisher wasn't going to put it in Spanish. And I'm going to be coming out with my own Spanish version thanks to QuickWrite. I can tell you it's the best money I have spent in the last probably 2 years. And then finally, there's this rewrite content. You can take your own content, a paragraph of something, and rewrite it in kind of a general rewrite, just rewording things, or a more professional sound, more convincing sound if you're doing some marketing, more casual sound. So you can do all of that. So I just wanted to show you that before we dive in. All right. I need some water. All right. And Glendon, I'm looking at my phone. Nope, Glendon hasn't texted me. So I guess I can just move right on. So here's what I've done. Again, so that it doesn't take forever. I want to show you a sample and show you kind of how it works. But then I also created a ton of prompts and put them in and did the research. And like any AI tool, it takes anywhere from 15 seconds to 2 minutes to generate, depending on how rich and robust and how complicated your prompt is and all those different kinds of things. And so I wanted to be able to, in this time, show you the depth and breadth of what it can do, as opposed to just having you sit here watching it generate content. So, all right. So with fiction writing, you've got in here, like if I do, plot suggestions, I'm going to show you. What I did is and this is just my workflow. if this helps you, if you end up grabbing QuickWrite, which I certainly hope that you do today, if you end up grabbing it and testing it out, because there's a 30-day trial, if you test it out, test drive it, then here's just my workflow. What I have found after using QuickWrite for the last 3 months, this is what I've done is in the editor, I like to take whatever prompt word for word that I put into where this create a plot suggestion or whatever the prompt is, the prompt area. And I like to put the word prompt and then put it in there so that if it creates something really, really good, and I'm doing something similar, I can just copy it and paste it and change whatever word or the title of a character or something like that. But what I did with this is I decided that I was going to, in all the examples that I'm going to give you today, I am using topics or book ideas that are not in my niche, that have nothing to do with anything I have ever written about or taught or talked about in 27 years of speaking on stages and writing books. So this one, I decided to come up with a fiction. I've actually, of the 13 books I've written, none of them are fiction. So this was an easy thing to just come up with an idea that I've never written because I've never written a fiction book. So I came up with the idea of Princess Penelope, a teenager who can talk to trees and animals and nature and is in a magical kingdom, whatever. So I put in, and I want to show you how it works before I kind of just go through. So I'm just going to copy it. So this is what I put in, is I put that in to create a plot suggestion for, and it gives you a sample, an example of kind of what it's looking for. And then you click generate content and QuickWrite goes to work. It's going in. People ask what it's built on. It is built on 6 different AI kind of models is what they're called. You might think of it more in the word platform, but they're in the AI world. They're called models. ChatGPT 3, 3.5, and 4 are the foundational models, but there are some other ones because, again, we've got the humanizer in there, we've got the translator in there, we've got the some of the marketing stuff, some of the different things like that. But you'll notice that here it comes up with this idea: Princess Penelope, tired of her endless court, blah 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 blah, and I had taken that, and I had done that before, and clicked move content to editor, and it pasted it in here. So it always is going to put it at the bottom. You can because it's an editor, you can copy and paste it anywhere you want. But if I really like this, then I can say, oh, I really like this. She saves the magical land, winning the hearts of all its inhabitants and proving that with courage and perseverance, anything is possible. I could copy just that part, paste it in, or I could move the content to editor, and you'll notice that what it just generated, I'm kind of giving you a preview of some things coming. It's pasted that down there. And so I've obviously created a whole lot of content here. So there we have, in that quick a time frame, it yeah, I see somebody saying, can I maximize the screen with the streaming of here? I really can't make it much bigger on here. I can, because if I make it bigger, I can make it a little bit bigger, but then it's making all the pieces narrower. So I don't know what to tell you about there. So then you can also just, clear everything. You can go back and have it generate it again, and AI models won't come out with the exact same thing every single time, which is lovely. And so I wanted to show you with if you're a fiction writer, think about all the different, kind of plot suggestions. My guess is you're not going to be looking for, I would hope, let me just say this. I would hope that you're not looking for a tool that is going to write your whole book without you having any input or ideas or creativity. I would hope that you are using this tool to give you ideas, prompt your own imagination. I mean, the writing journey is a creative one, is a satisfying one when we use these ideas and use these prompts. But having writing prompts, I almost feel like QuickWrite is in a way kind of bouncing ideas off our friend and saying, what do you think of this? And what would your idea be if I told you Princess Penelope and they gave you an idea back? That would stir things in your head. So I then went on to plot. So you got plot suggestions, create a character description. So the plot suggestion was there, and I truly got no reason to trust me other than I'm telling you to trust me. But I literally, when I was doing this research yesterday, I put the prompt in, generated the content, and clicked move content to editor. None of this is me editing it, massaging it, other than the fact that, again, for the workflow, I put the word prompt in bold letters, and then I go to this for some reason, this drop down works just fine as far with StreamYard. And I see, you can change heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, all these different kinds of things. And so I just like to be able to see it, know what my sections are, and be able to have this all in one document. And oh, by the way, when I was giving you the general overview, I forgot to tell you that this green button up here in the corner, I don't know if you can read it or not on your computer, it says export content. And when you're all done, you can click export content and it exports everything in there formatted the way that you have it, whether you've done bullets, underlined, quotes, headers, all those kinds of things. You export it and it exports the whole thing as a Word document. So you can then go into writing. I mean, the amount of time that saves is insane. And so the next one was the next prompt that I put in there was create a character description, which is the second one in the drop down under fiction. Princess Penelope, a curious teenager princess who speaks to animals and nature. And it gave me this whole thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but for some of you, it's really small. Just look at even the first paragraph. Princess Penelope is a young, curious teenage princess with a deep connection to the natural world. She is tall and slim with a long mane of curly chestnut brown hair that falls down to her waist. Her eyes are a striking emerald green, full of mischief and wonder. She is always seen wearing a long flowing dress made of the finest silk and adorned with intricate embroidery and delicate lace. And it just goes on and on, right? And this was not me generate content 5 or 6 different times. This was it creating a 5-paragraph character description in under 2 minutes that I could then, if I was actually going to write this book, I could have that spur on more of how I think about Princess Penelope. And then the next one is creating a book title. So I just put in the same thing. Princess Penelope, a teenage princess, learns valuable life. I just changed it a little bit. A teenage princess learns valuable life lessons from nature and animals she is able to speak with. And it came up, and I got to tell you, most of them are not anything that I would use. But I thought this is kind of a cool. There are different ones, right? Princess Penelope and the Wisdom of the Forest. Tales of Princess Penelope and the Talking Animals. Penelope's Path, a tale of growth and adventure. Kind of like that. But there were, then look at 9. The Royal Explorer, Princess Penelope's Nature Walks. I don't know. I'm not buying that book. But of the 10, I'd say there are 2 or 3 that are in the ballpark. And out of those 10, I'm guessing that if you're a fiction writer, I'm guessing you could take the pieces and, hey, what does this really sound like me? What would catch my audience's eye in there? So, and then I went down to create a book description, right? So I love to just kind of say, what did I have in this fiction project? What's the title of your book? So I put the title. I think I chose Penelope's Path, a tale of growth and adventure, and pasted it here. And then describe your book in a short phase. I then put Princess Penelope, a teenage princess, learns valuable life lessons. I think I just ended up using the same thing. And it gave me a book description. And then I went on to writing a background or backstory. And so, or, and where's that at? Write a background or backstory. I think I actually did this. I think I mistakenly write a background story, because I think I actually did the create a unique. No, that I did a backstory. And so I then put in the prompt: an evil wizard who tries to steal the imagination of Princess Penelope. Because this wasn't even on my radar before I started putting in the prompts about this teenage princess who can talk to animals and nature. And it comes up with these ideas, which spurs me on. And then I'm picturing an evil wizard who's trying to steal her imagination. Well, then what happens is once there was an evil wizard named Malachar who lived in a dark, gloomy castle atop a hill. He was a master of dark magic and possessed immense power, which he used to terrorize the neighboring kingdoms. All of these, and all of that. And look at that. That is all a background story and character description of Malachar, the evil wizard, that I could then write about, right? And then create a unique name. And so I just said, okay, what about every princess in a book needs a best friend, right? So the best friend of Princess Penelope, a teenager who can speak to nature and animals. And so they came up with willow, sage, luna, fern, clementine, marigold, clover, jasmine, thalia. I thought that was kind of cool. Thalia is a Greek name meaning to blossom. And it actually told me that. Like, I didn't even look that up. I'm like, Thalia. Why would I, what is that? It was something where in the list, in this middle section right here, when I typed in this prompt, it gave me these names. And for the last two, it gave me a little bit of a description so I could see whether I like it. And then I did another unique location, right? The kingdom of Princess Penelope, a teenager who can speak to nature and animals. And some of them are dumb, right? It's an AI tool. Some of them are dumb. Naturelandia. No, I'm not doing that one. But the woodland realm, or fauna fortaleza, Spanish, that I did look up, is Spanish for wildlife fortress. I kind of like that. So that, and then create your story prompt. So how about a young adult adventure and a princess, a wizard, talking animals? So it tells you when you go in here, what genre are you writing? So I think I put young adult. Yeah, I put young adult adventure in genre. And then what elements would you like to include? I put a princess, a wizard, talking animals, a sea, and a mountain range. And it gave me this Princess Lillian. And I didn't use Princess Penelope, so it came up with another name. Right? Princess Lillian of Casperton had always lived in a sheltered life within the walls of the castle, dreaming of adventure beyond the palace gates. She never expected that her wish would come true in the form of a quirky wizard named Alderic. So this is making it a kind wizard. Or did I say evil wizard? No, I just said a wizard. So it would have been something different if I would have said an evil wizard, right? So you can make this as custom as you want it. And then creating a writing prompt. Again, young adult. And this gives me a paragraph. For those of you that are fiction, I want to show you something amazing. Here's what I want to do. I want to see if we can create. I want to show you these ones, and I want to create one on the fly. I want to show you just kind of some fiction pictures. So give me an idea for a type of animal and a place and what that animal might be doing. Doesn't even have to be something that animals can do. And we'll see what it comes up with. So I'll just glance over. But I wanted to show you, when you go into the Create AI Images, you can select the style. So I've put in the exact same prompt of a young princess. I think I realized I didn't put that prompt in there. So I don't know exactly what I typed. I think I typed a young teenage princess who lives surrounded by nature in a medieval land or something, or kingdom. And so when I selected photorealistic, it came up with this picture. I'm going to see if I can zoom in enough to even show you. It's not going to let me do it. I'm trying to see the biggest picture I can show you on the screen. So this is when and these are all the styles of picture. I did not change the prompt at all, but here's what photorealistic came up with. It's amazing to me. The illustration one I thought was good, maybe for a younger audience. But if I was writing a teenage fiction book, I think I really like this one. Here's kind of the animation style. Pencil sketch, if you were doing kind of an older style. And by the way, if you generated a picture with that and you're printing on KDP, this is like a self-publishing trick that they care about page count and the color of things. So you could create everything with pencil sketches, put them in there, and it's not costing you anything else. The 3D render style, I thought that was unbelievable. And again, just so you know, I did not put in the prompt, not like the picture, change the prompt until I got one I liked. I put in the exact same prompt, just changed the style, copied it over, and you're seeing what you're seeing. And then detailed painting. So, and I saw somebody asked about nonfiction. Yeah, we're going fiction and then nonfiction and then marketing and then social media. So, that's fiction, right? And so then when you're done, you click Save Document. It saves the document. Now you go back out there. And if I was going to write some more things, I was going to come up with other character descriptions, all that, then I would come back into Fiction Book and just keep going. And when I'm done doing my research for that, export it as a Word document. Or depending on what you're doing, if you're writing just one book, you could create a document for each chapter and come up with writing prompts and all that. So I'm going to go to nonfiction now. So nonfiction, how do you like this? Here's I write faith-based stuff, Bible studies and things for parents and all that kind of stuff. So I decided, let's talk about something I know nothing about. I'm super good at killing plants, but I really like to eat good vegetables. So I decided I'm going to write a book teaching a beginner. I'm writing a book for myself. Maybe I'm going to have I'm going to have a QuickWrite write a book for me about that's going to help me actually have a garden that doesn't die. So I put in to the create a book title, teaching a beginner how to grow a vegetable garden. And what happened? Well, what happened is this: 10 titles. It gave me 10 ideas. And I really like number 5. I could actually see not changing anything or barely changing something. The Green Thumb Guide, Mastering Vegetable Gardening for Beginners. And I actually think that's a pretty darn good picture. Title. So that's the one that I used moving forward, is when I went into create, in nonfiction, I went into create a book description, and said, what is the title of the book? So I put in that title of the Green Thumb Guide, Mastering the Art of Gardening for Beginners. And in this description tab, I put in teaching a beginner how to grow a vegetable garden. So same one that I had above. And it created this book description. Looking to master vegetable gardening as a beginner? Look no further than the Green Thumb Guide. This comprehensive guidebook takes you step by step through the process of preparing your garden, selecting the right crops, planting, caring for, and harvesting your vegetables. Easy to follow instructions and handy tips, you'll quickly become a pro at growing your own delicious and healthy produce. Whether you're looking to start a garden for sustenance, relaxation, or just for fun, the Green Thumb Guide is the perfect resource for beginners. So don't wait any longer. Start mastering vegetable gardening today. Oh my goodness. What do you think? There are different ones. You can go into rewrite an existing book description. So if you want to take pieces of that and then put it over into the editor and then copy the whole paragraph, put it back into the book description, generate content again in the rewrite an existing book description, see what it comes up with. You could do that 3 or 4 times and probably come up with a pretty amazing book description. I think the first one that it came up with is pretty darn good. Certainly better than 90+% of what I see self-published book descriptions on Amazon come up with the people that I coach through that. So in the next one, create a book outline. So I went down to create a book outline for what? For a book about, and I use the same step by step, because in the book description, it used the phrase step by step. And I went, ooh, I like that. So step-by-step guide for teaching a beginner how to grow a vegetable garden. And I put that right here into create a book outline, generate content, and it gave me a 15 chapter outline. Introduction to vegetable gardening, planning your garden space, choosing the right vegetables for your garden, preparing the soil, starting seeds indoors, transplanting seedlings, direct seeding in the garden, watering your garden, mulching and fertilizing, composting for a healthy garden, growing your own herbs, dealing with garden pests and diseases, harvesting your vegetables, preserving your garden harvest, and preparing for the next gardening season. I'm looking at that right now thinking this would be a very, very helpful book. Is there anybody who's not a gardener who would like this book to actually be finished because you would like to grow your own vegetables and do it without killing them all? So then creating a chapter outline. So then what I've done here is to show the sample. I put this in bold right here, that chapter 3, choosing the right vegetables for your garden. And so I put in the creating a chapter outline, choosing the right vegetables for your garden. And it gave me 7 different sections that could be of that chapter, right? Selecting vegetables that are adapted to your climate and soil, consider the amount of sunlight your garden has, thinking about the space available, selecting vegetables that fit within your garden's size constraints, on and on and on. And then I took this one, the third one, about the I never even thought about that the type of vegetables based on the size of the space you have available. And so I decided to create a content section. And I put, thinking about the space of it, I literally copied and pasted that. So I could have even just changed it. So create a content section for getting the right vegetables for the space available or something like that. But I just copied and pasted it because I just wanted to show you how quickly it could give ideas. And great way to make the most. And it created this whole content section for that. And so when you think about writing a nonfiction book, to be able to come up with a book title, a book description, an outline of the book, even if you've got a general outline of your book, I'm guessing that if you took the focus of your book, the purpose and of your book, and what problem you're going to solve for your nonfiction reader, whether it's teaching somebody about exercise, teaching somebody about investing and finance, teaching somebody about faith and parenting, whatever it is, my guess is if you've got a book and you've got some ideas, you've already taken some notes, to put that book idea into the create an outline, it might create a chapter that you had just never thought of before. And so your book, even if you've got a general outline, for that to make your book better, man, I just love that. So that is the nonfiction piece. And again, Glendon, if there's anything that, hold on. So Glendon sent me a question. Do you get better content results by prompting the app with as many specifics as possible or with fewer specifics? I would say my experience is the more specific you can get, the better. And so when you can give it as many different pieces of the puzzle as you can, then it's going to come up with better content, especially, and I will put specifically when you are using the create something else, which launches the Power Editor. With the Power Editor, I find that the more specific that you can be, the better. The more you can, and I will show you that with kind of something fun at the end, that to show you kind of how powerful that Power Editor is. So moving on to the marketing promotion business tab is one. So I'm going to close this down. I think I changed a couple things, so I'm just going to save that really quickly in case I ever come back in here again. And to go to this marketing business promotion sample. And it always starts with just assuming that you want to go out of the gate doing whatever you want to do. So it goes to this power editor when you launch it, and then you can go from there. So Mark, when you save it the first time, I'm sorry. When you save a document the first time, it launches it and goes to the power editor. When you save it as you're going, once you've opened it, you've named it, you've saved it, when you've added things to the editor, the editor, and then click save, then it will keep you in the place because it's assuming you're wanting to do more research kind of in the same place and going through a process. So just so you know, the first time that you save, that's why I think the best idea is to come in, open it up, name it, save it, and then start your research is a good way of using it. All right. Then, so this idea, what this kind of gets into the marketing piece and the selling your book more and the actually turning book writing in the business side of it. So for some of you, you're just trying to, get your book idea out there. But I wanted to let you know of the powerful tools that this is. And so for me, since I write nonfiction, and I'm sure there are ideas that fiction writers could come up with, but nonfiction's my world. So when it comes to marketing, I think, okay, well, when it comes to actually turning your book into a business, that having some supplemental materials, having something that I'm just going to give you an example specifically for me, that I've got a book called How to Enjoy Reading Your Bible. Well, and that book, you can go get it for, 12 to 15 bucks, depending on how Amazon has priced it. And I also have a course that I have called Relational Bible Study. That's a video course, has all the downloads, all that kind of stuff. Well, that's something that if somebody likes one thing, they might like another. And so the idea of the prompt, I thought, okay, starting at the very beginning, what would be a business or product name? And so I just said, let's put in, if I was writing a book about saving money for college, this is top of mind. I've never written a book about saving money for college, but it's top of mind because I already have a kid in college and my son starts college in the fall. So I'm going to be having two in college. So I'm like, okay, probably should have written and read and thought through this one earlier. But what about you've written a book on for parents and students about how to save money for college? Well, turning that into a business, the marketing end of that is, how about you help create a course that provides supplemental training for deeper training on a book about how to save money for college. And it comes up with all these ideas. College Saving Mastery, the ultimate guide to saving for college. Financial planning for higher education, college fundamentals, saving techniques, building wealth for your child's college. And again, some of them are great, some of them are not. But mastering the art of saving for college, effective college savings techniques. You've got all these different ones, and you've got so you're brainstorming this business or product idea. And so then I went, okay, this thing will create a full-blown business plan. So you can be thinking through, how is it? I mean, if you're getting investors, great. But even if you're not, to be able to think through a plan of how this can make money. And so it's got this, our company's called Money Matters, and it offers a supplemental course designed to provide deeper training on a book on how to save money for college. It's got all this. It's going to cover funding options for college, budgeting and saving, scholarships and grants, student loans, all this, benefits of working while in college, all this. Here's your market analysis. With the rising cost of college education, has made it difficult for many students and their families to afford higher education. All this is the average academic year was 10,000 this, that's going to include state colleges, community colleges, all this. And then the average student loan debt was $32,731, right? So it's doing this research. Now, you're going to want to if you're actually putting data research in there, then do further research as well. I hope you're doing that. I hope you're using this as one of your research tools, not your only thing, right? Your marketing strategy. How are you going to market this? Your revenue model. This is how we're going to be. The fee will be $299 per student for the 1-week course. This fee includes all course materials, blah, 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 blah. We will also offer a 10% discount to students who refer friends and family to the course. I mean, it's writing this business plan for you of how to market and sell and price a course. and the financial projections. We expect to generate 100,000 in revenue in the first year, increase revenue by 20% annually for the next 5, blah, 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 blah. And conclusion. It's got the business plan there. And within the marketing, promotion, and business, you've got the ability to write email. Who are you writing to? Who's this email from? And what is this email about? This is the pre-release of my new book, Red Tree, an exciting adventure of dark elves and light weaving trolls, right? So I just wrote who? Potential readers of my book. From Keith Farron, that's me. What? This book teaches parents and their children how to save money for college. Purchasing the book comes with a free supplemental course that dives deeper, and I added that, right? It could be a discount on the supplemental course, whatever it is. And so it gave me 5 different email subject lines and then wrote a sales email for me. Now, I would change some of how it signs off, and I would make this sound like me. But man, to have the basics of that work done for you ahead of time is huge. It's just, in my opinion, it's massive to have some of that. And again, you've got copy for a video sales letter if you're getting into that, a tagline for your product if you're creating a product. And within that, I wanted to look at social media separate from the marketing, email, business plan thing, because to me, social media is its own thing. So it's under the same marketing, promotion, or business. But I wanted to show you that in the social media sample. And so within here, you've got this saved in, you've named it, you've saved it. And so I went in to marketing, select social media post. What are you creating a social media post for? Well, create a social media post announcing my brand new book for parents. This book shows them 10 tips for entering the empty nest phase of life. Got 2 kids going to college? Right. So I see that there have been several questions about cost, and I'm happy to address those at the end. And there's reason for sure. So just so you know, as I'm showing you here on the screen, what it came up with for the social media post, all these emojis and things that you see on here and hashtags are all generated by QuickWrite. It's all something that again, I created it. So I'm just gonna kind of show you. So let's say that your book is about how to train for a marathon, how to go from the couch. I'm going to say a social media post, selling a book, or announcing a new book about how to go from being a couch potato to running a marathon in 9 months. Okay? Generate content. Let's just see what it comes up with. And so while it's generating that, this is some of what it came up with. And then what I did is I put a few different lines, and then I clicked, without changing anything, I clicked generate content again. And then it created this one. And so you could just keep clicking generate content, and see, you're going to take pieces of it. It could create several for the week if you're doing that. And then you have them all here in this Word document. And then I really like this Twitter. Even though I am more on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, I like using this Twitter post feature because it makes them shorter. Oh, I wanted to see what does it say? Attention couch potatoes. We're excited to announce the release of our new book, From Couch Potato to Marathon Runner, a 9-month training plan. Whether you've never laced up your sneakers before or you're looking to step up your running game, our book is your ultimate guide to transforming yourself from a couch potato to a marathon runner in just 9 months. With a comprehensive training plan, expert tips from experienced runners, and motivational advice to keep you going, this book has everything you need to cross the finish line. So what are you waiting for? Get your copy today and start your journey to becoming a marathon runner. Hashtag couch potato to marathon runner. Hashtag 9-month training plan. Hashtag get moving. Hashtag motivation Monday. Right? Move that to the content editor, and now there it is, right there at the bottom. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Always save your work. and with the Twitter one, announcing my brand new book. So I, again, click generate content a couple times, and it creates something a little bit more concise. So I find that with the Twitter post, you could use it for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, tagging it onto a picture, something like that. I just find that the concise nature of the algorithm for Twitter posts creates really good content. And then now this is the couch potato one, but I decided to put one in that I haven't put in yet. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go in, and instead of just continuing to click create content, I'm going to go down to this create something else, and I'm going to put create 10, and I'm just going to change it to see what it comes up with. 10 Instagram posts. So I have a bad spelling. Oh, it's just title. I mean, capitalized. So here we go. Create 10 Instagram posts announcing my new novel. Remember my novel, Princess Penelope, a teenage princess who learns life lessons while she talks with animals in nature. And let's just see what it comes up with. So a lot of these I've created and copied it over to the editor, but I just want to show you, just think of how much time you've spent looking at and creating Instagram posts and captions. And so maybe that's even what I should have put, because I think Instagram calls them captions, not posts. So I probably should have said create 10 Instagram captions and see what it does. So it created the 4 posts. Introducing Princess Penelope, a teenage princess who embarks on a journey of self-discovery through conversations with animals and nature. Follow her story in my new novel, out now. Join Princess Penelope on her journey of growth and self-reflection as she learns valuable life lessons in the most unexpected ways. Don't miss out on my new novel. And are you going to copy and paste and use everything word for word? Probably not. But you might take a few of them, and you certainly are going to take ideas from multiple, right? So those are the social media pieces. And maybe what I'll do, because we're coming up on 57 minutes, I said I wanted to teach for about an hour and kind of cover those 4 pillars of fiction, nonfiction, marketing and business, and social media. And I would love to answer some questions now. And then if we've got some time after that, want to do something fun with the Power Editor. So I'm going to come back in here and let me know. So rather than me scrolling through an hour's worth of thousands of chats from well over 100 people, Glendon, if you can copy and paste and some questions in there that you would like me to answer. I see you've been answering some. I've seen your name pop up in there referencing somebody. So I'm assuming you've answered some of them. But let me see. You just texted me. All right. Okay. How is the program at rewriting an existing first draft novel? From Paul Ross. So I will tell you that while I don't have experience with this, because again, I'm not a fiction writer, and I've never heard of somebody putting in like a whole manuscript. I haven't heard of somebody putting something in that that gave them like a character limit. Like, I don't know if there's something that you can only do 5,000 words at a time or things like that. I know that there are ways that it can generate the first draft of an entire blog post at 2,000 to 3,000 words. So I know that from an output standpoint, it can do lots and lots of words. It's not something where it's only going to do 100 words at a time or something like that. I've done some things where, hey, give me a 500 word overview of, and put in a topic I'm doing research on. So I've done that. The rewrite content, I will tell you that the translate feature, the rewrite feature, the humanizer feature, those are 3 of the newer of the 9 that are listed in the drop-down, the main general drop-down menu, which again looks like this. Doesn't look like that. It looks like this. So translate content, humanizer, and rewrite content are the 3 newest, and the ones that I personally have had had less time to play with. One thing I have done is that I was crazy impressed with is I have taken a like 4 paragraphs of my own book and said, based on this, and pasted those 5 paragraphs or so, write about this, and put in a prompt that was a topic I wanted it to write about, to see how close to my voice it would come. And I wouldn't say it was 100% spot on, but it was way better than I thought it would be. And I know a guy who did that same type of thing, but he did use a whole chapter of his book and said, write something about this using this kind of language and style. And his own wife didn't realize that he hadn't written what he kicked out. So, okay. So a chat GPT question. Love the interface part of QuickWrite. How is it different from the free chat GPT? So here's the deal with that, is that everybody needs to make their money. And yes, ChatGPT is free. But you may or may not know, anytime you log into ChatGPT, you'll see in the lower corner, upgrade to Plus or upgrade to Pro. I can't remember if it's called Plus or Pro. But that is $20 a month. So you'll pay $20 a month, and there is no lifetime license version of that. You can't I don't care if you give them $1,000, they're not going to let you use it forever. So ChatGPT free, if you want to be using their most powerful model, and you want the latest features, and you want the highest speeds, and all of that kind of stuff, that's part of ChatGPT Pro. And almost any AI tool, whether it's an image generator, whether it's some of the things that can build slide decks. I mean, there are so many different AI. I think they said there are something like 100 AI programs being released every month. And I would bet that, I heard that 2 months ago, I would bet it's that every week now. But almost everyone will say, do this for free. And you can do 10 searches, or you can create 5 images or something. And then you buy credits for that, and you buy this. And so QuickWrite is something that the normal, like if you just go to quickwrite.ai, the normal price is $497 for a lifetime license. But with this, because this is kind of the founder's launch right now, if you click the link that is on this page where you're watching it, or in the description of this video on my YouTube channel, since that's how we're streaming this into this page, or in the email that you got, or in the chat that Glendon's going to put there, if you buy it through there, you get a lifetime license to QuickWrite for $197. You literally pay $197 and you have it. You have all the things. Like when I got mine a few months ago, it didn't have translate content, humanizer, rewrite content. These are things that have just popped up in my account. So you're creating a login, and because it is web-based, everything that they add to it, every way that they update it, is something that you get. Whereas, and for me, I would say the look and feel of it is worth it. I think that the power of having it built on not only ChatGPT, you're getting the quality of ChatGPT Model 3, Model 3.5, and Model 4, which is the latest one that came out last month. You're getting not only that, the most current model of ChatGPT, you're getting 6 other AI models, and you're getting the image generator and all of that built in to one single tool that you can do all of your research in. The saving, the formatting, the being able to export it as a Word document, to me, the amount of time that gets saved from not highlighting, copying this, pasting it here, you can do that. But I love being able to name it whatever I want, keep it in the order that I want it, export that, and then delete that one in there. I'm not saying that I never use ChatGPT. I've used ChatGPT. I've used Bing, because you may not know this, but the biggest investor in OpenAI is Microsoft. And so the new Bing does that. And so there are little things in there. There are lots and lots of different AI tools that are really, really cool when it comes to writing content and not having to think about the ultra complicated prompt to make sure that it's giving you good information, to be able to say, I want to write nonfiction and I want to brainstorm an outline for a book about this. And it's been done with a drop down that the folks at Adazing, the company that runs QuickWrite, that Glendon works with, they've built the process so that when you select these drop downs and sub drop downs and put in these things that they're prompting you with, it's building the most powerful prompt for feeding it into the model. And it's so you're getting ChatGPT, but in my opinion, you're just getting so much more. So is ChatGPT going anywhere? No, it's not. It's great. Is QuickWrite going to save you time? Yes. Is it going to be easier and cleaner to work with? Yes. How much is that worth to your own writing process? If you've got a tool that looks good, that feels good, that's easy to navigate, that when you send a support ticket, there's actually somebody that replies to it. When you're going to be more consistent in your writing and get your book finished if the tool that you're using is something you enjoy using. And to me, that's golden. I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. So I'm not saying this is going to destroy. I mean, it's built on that model. And ChatGPT is going to make their money. But $197, and just so you know, that price, that founder's price, is changing a week from today. So if you're watching this live, then just know that $197 is discounted price is changing to $297 if you buy through one of the affiliate partners like myself. But the regular price for QuickWrite is $497. So if you buy it today, it's $197. A week from now, through me or one of the other partners, it's going to be $297. Whoever sent you the original email that sent you to this. And but if you just go to QuickWrite.ai, even today, that price is $497. So you get $300 off if you buy it today, and a couple $100 off if you buy it a week from now. But with a 30-day money-back guarantee, play with it for 30 days. All right. I see that another question just came through. Can you or Keith give us some idea of what new features might be on the horizon? And I think I don't know all of those. Glendon, if there are some that you want me to highlight, then let me know. I do believe that some of the language things, some of the things that are the translating that are, I believe right now, it works in English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, and it can translate into Spanish, German, French, and Russian. That is, those are some of the new ones. I don't know all of the different new ones. I think Glendon, you're going to need to help me with that. I don't know if you've already answered that. All right. Another question. So could you share how these new features have come about by users like yourself? Oh, so I can tell you that. I can tell you that Glendon, there's a specific question about Greek. So Shelley asked a question about Greek. Is it coming in that? And you and CJ and I haven't talked about that, so I don't know what you guys are planning there. But as far as the new users thing, I want to tell you here are some things that also for me I just love about QuickWrite. When I go in to I'm just so it's less confusing. When I go into the main editor, I will tell you that I talked with CJ and Glendon, and there were a couple different things that I suggested that they've already implemented. One is that when you log in, I wanted the very first, I wanted the fastest thing that it gave me, not being fiction or nonfiction or whatever. I wanted it to be the power editor, so that if I knew before I launched QuickWrite what it was that I was wanting to prompt it with, hey, outline this, and it wasn't a nonfiction book, it wasn't a fiction book, it wasn't a business plan. I just knew what I wanted to enter it. And I had a complicated prompt, that's something that many of you have probably put into ChatGPT. I wanted that to be first. So the next time I logged in, I think it was 2 days later or something like that, the power editor was now at the top and was automatically launched. When you create a new project, you've got the power editor. So you can just come right in and jump in, enter in your prompt, it generates it, you're done. And so I could use it for quicker research. So I know that's something that was put in by there. So rearranging some of that, I recommended, since the AI image thing is in beta, I said anything that you add that's in beta, I think that our brains naturally would put that at the bottom of the list, not in quality or value, but when we think of beta things, those are add-ons. So the things that are polished, I want at the top. The things that are in beta, I want to be at the bottom. And boom, they put it in there. The other thing, there was a formatting functional thing that was weird with some of the bullet point things, and I brought it to them, and CJ messaged me today. CJ is the owner of Adazing, and he messaged me today that it's fixed. And so now the bullet point stuff, it's always worked, but there were some places when some types of things that you were trying to format and bullet that would get funky, and it works. So, all right. Any other questions, Glendon, that I should be addressing here? Where's the link for purchasing? Glendon, you better put that in there. you better put that in there. So make it easy to buy. So I'm trying to think if I even have it. I don't even think, because I've got my email and all my stuff closed. So there is a link. If you're watching this on my YouTube, I don't know, some of you are watching this on the live page. Some of you have clicked within the chat and it's brought you to YouTube and my YouTube channel. So if you are on the YouTube page, I have put the link, and the general link that, not my affiliate link. I have put the direct link to their 197 page in the description of that video, and so you can find that. You can find that there. So somebody said the link is at the bottom of the page under the video screen. So I don't see. Okay. All right. So I want to just show you one more thing, because I set aside 90 minutes. If somebody has something, and here I'll start looking at the chat now a little bit more. I want to show you something just crazy powerful that is fun to me. And so but if somebody has something you actually want to see me demo, like you have a prompt, hey, in the nonfiction, in the book outline, or in the blog, this, whatever, if there was something that you saw that you want me to try, I'm happy to try it. I've set aside, I've got a few more minutes, but the power editor, somebody asked a question about, could the more specific you be, could that create better results? And so I've tested this with a few different things, and I just think it's amazing here what you can do. So let's do this. Create a 10-week video online course that takes someone from never cooking anything to being a master chef Focus on what kind of cooking you like. I'm part Italian. Italian cooking. Make sure each week has a primary outcome, like something. This is going to be the goal. This is going to be the primary outcome of the week, and make sure it has a primary outcome and at least 3. I don't know whether it likes numbers or not. I have no idea. So I'm just going to type it out. 3 lessons. Let's just see. Just see what it comes up with. And let's see. I'm gonna look through to see if anybody has anything they want me to. The link is on the landing page and also at the description video on YouTube. I love the way you said you can save a prompt. I'll watch this again, but maybe you can do that again. Yeah. If you're asking me for how I save a prompt, what I do, a lot of times when it's generating as content, I will just copy this and I'll come over to here, and because you can be working while it's doing it in the background, prompt, and I'll put where I was. So I was just in the power editor, and this is what I told it. Create a 10-week. This is exactly what I did. I'm just going to change that because it bugs me. And I want that to stand out. So I'm going to go ahead and make that heading 1 so that you can read it. Actually, that kind of crunches it together. Let's see if there. I think heading 2 is better. All right, so that's there. Now let's just see. I'm gonna come over. All right, let's see. Week 1, basic kitchen skills. Primary outcome: understand the fundamentals of cooking and feel confident in the kitchen. Lessons: introduction to kitchen tools and equipment. Basic. What is this? Basic knife skills and safety. Right? Measure and adjust recipe ingredients to serve multiple people. I'm thinking that's not a beginning lesson, right? I would probably put that somewhere else. Introduction to Italian cuisine. Understand the basics of Italian cuisine and ingredients. Introduction to Italian basics: olive oil, pasta, tomatoes, regional and cultural differences in Italian cooking styles, understanding different Italian herbs. Pasta 101. So the whole week focused on pasta, understanding how to make pasta from scratch using various ingredients. Week 4, classic Italian dishes: how to make gnocchi and tomato sauce, margherita pizza, and risotto with mushrooms. I love mushroom risotto. If you've got a good recipe for that, send that my way. And if you want to know how to make it in an Instant Pot, I've got that recipe. Shoot me an email and I'll send that to you, or comment here on this video. Advanced pasta: how to make homemade ravioli, tortellini recipes, fettuccine alfredo with shrimp. Oh my goodness, I need that. Italian seafood, Italian meat dishes, basic baking skills, Italian desserts, and 10, Italian in practice. Primary outcome: put all your skills together and cook a full Italian meal. Review and assess the progress, choosing the menu, full course meal prep for Italians. Right? I mean, all from me putting in this one prompt into the Power Editor. There it is. Well, there's my outline. I'm just blown away. Blown away. So let me see. So I think Shelly, I think that answers your question of how I do that. So I just, while it's generating the content, I copy the prompt, put it over here. Then if it didn't come up with exactly what I wanted it to say, I might be able to copy and paste it and tweak a few words, or I noticed there's something misspelled that was a major word, so it probably confused it. So I just like having what I use with it. Clendon. Okay. You wanted me to mention the replay. There is going to be a replay, and the replay is going to be available tomorrow, like many different time zones, kind of mid-morning to late morning US time, and it will be available through the weekend. So tomorrow, from now through Sunday, you'll be able to use that link that is on the page to test out QuickWrite. And honestly, it's one of those things where if you're considering doing it, I actually think the most helpful way that you could do it is to do the 30-day trial, get it for $197. So if you decide you love it as much as I do, you stay with it. And then when the replay goes live, watch the replay again and type in your own prompts in your own browser your own version of QuickWrite so that you can be walking through and put in, change the things. If you don't care about gardening, if you actually have a book you're really working on and you don't care about Princess Penelope and gardening and saving money for college and entering the empty nest phase, that when I get to those examples, put in your own using the model. Because man, if you're doing it while I'm teaching it, you're going to learn it so much faster and you're going to be able to be off and running. And then if you decide it's not for you, then it's not for you. But I think that's going to be the fastest way for you to learn it, is to have it open in a browser while you're watching the replay. I think that's going to be your best move. All right. I see some other things. I had to miss out on tonight's session because of unexpected company. Will this be available? Oh, yeah, that's the model. Is this like ChatGPT? The software remembers what we're talking about, so I don't have to repeat the prompt, but can just carry on the same conversation? Are we actually working in a document? I don't know. I mean, I don't know some of the foundational background underpinnings of it. Maybe Glendon, maybe you can answer that, or we can put that in some of the replay things that about that. In general, because it's creating the prompt. In general, I would say no. But it may be something where with the prompt, if you've asked it something and you've moved that over to the editor and you ask a follow-up question, I honestly haven't tested that a whole lot. That is a really good question. So somebody asked, Glendon, what can it do to create and improve dialogue? I'm not sure I understand what that's asking. Create and improve dialogue. Maybe you're talking about specifically in a fiction book. Maybe that's why I was confused, because I'm a nonfiction writer, and the whole fiction world is a bit of a mystery to me. So let's see. Good job creating dialogue. Can I move one of the 3 columns to a second screen on my PC? No, you can't. You can't. You can make it bigger and stretch it if you've got. Like I have a super ultra wide, but you can, if you've got a browser that you can stretch across monitors, but the way that it's built, it's 3 columns within a browser. It's not 3 browser tabs. And so whatever your browser window, however large you can make your browser window, you can make that whole thing QuickWrite. But it's however, like when you take a browser window and you go to full screen, it's going to take that full screen and divide it up into 3 equal columns, is what QuickWrite's going to do right now. And maybe that will be a future release, is the ability to resize 1 column, make the editor really big, make the generate content piece really big. I don't know. But there was that suggest a feature thing on the front page of QuickWrite as soon as you log in. Submit a feature request or something like that. So is this like Scrivener, I guess, with the columns? I have not used Scrivener a lot. I know I'm familiar with Scrivener. I've kind of messed around with it a little bit, but I prefer to honestly just write in Word. So for me, I do my research now in QuickWrite. I export it and I do all of my own kind of creative editing, writing. I just feel like I can focus a lot more when I'm in there. So for some people, they love Scrivener. I'm not saying anything bad about Scrivener. It just didn't work with my brain. But yeah, if there are columns, maybe, I don't know. And I mentioned that my most recent book is a Bible study called Hebrew Scripture Journey. And I said that this was the only one that was new enough that I could use QuickWrite for some of it. And basically at the end, this is a 40-day Bible study. And while I already had the model and what I was going to be writing about in the content sections of each day, there are discussion questions. And I was able to go in and put in the breaks that I had in Hebrews. I was able to say, okay, give me 5 to 7, I can't remember what I said, discussion questions for this section of the book of Hebrews. And I was able to put in a section and it put him out, and I was able to copy it over and put in a new section, copy it over, whatever. And the discussion questions, some of them were just very generic. How does this section apply to my life? Whatever. And but some of them were much more thoughtful, came up with connections that I hadn't thought of before, led to me creating, I believe, better discussion questions than I had before, because it's going to think of things that I hadn't, because it's going to see things. So so that was something that I've already used it to, I believe, make my most recent book better. So you were going to cover said you were going to cover AI and copyright. So the whole copyright thing, AI is not copying content, putting it in, and not citing it. AI is looking at, I mean, just the way that I would describe it kind of in common terms. When I'm describing AI to my 80-year-old mother, I say, okay, what if you had a computer read 10,000 articles on a topic and then write a 300-word summary of the most common, most quoted, most used research, statements, all of that, and it summarized this topic based on having read 10,000 articles, and it writes the summary. Well, the summary isn't a quote from this. It's not taking quotes from 2 or 3 of the top resources. It's saying, I'm looking at, I say 10,000, it's actually millions of articles, and not just articles, blog posts, public domain books, all that, anything that is public on the internet. It has scoured that, and it's basically creating new content based on that. And this may get a little nerdy, but I read an article on kind of how ChatGPT builds its content, which again is the model that, or one of the main models that QuickWrite is built on. And the way the article is trying to describe it is that it basically says, when this gets searched, this is what is most commonly said, and it's building it a word at a time. And so it will say, when you're talking about this, when people are searching this and there are articles this, the most common next word is this and this and this. But it knows the top 10 to 15 words, and part of the algorithm, part of the model, is that it doesn't always just take the top 1, but occasionally it will randomly take number 3 or something, which will then change what the 1 through 10 are, which is how it can create original content all the time. And how, when you can put in the same prompt, click generate content, generate content, generate content, and all of those have the same basic message with slightly different wording, is because it's not copying anything. And so if you're asking about, is it using copyrighted material and is it plagiarism? The answer is no. If it's how do you copyright your own thing, well, that's when you take it out and put it into your book, and you put it, then that you've taken it, you've massaged it, you've put your own words on it, and then what that is then created, that can become a copyrighted piece of work. Nobody else can take that. Okay, so what is this? I repeat my question about possible plagiarism issues. So I hope I just answered that. Could we end up with plagiarism issues when another author recognizes some chunk of text that QuickWrite produced for both of you? And that's, again, it's not going to create the exact same thing. Again, in March, the U.S. Copyright Office will not grant copyright for AI. It must be humanized, meaning use the tool, get your working words via AI, then humanize with your own voice, and then alter it. Yes, there you go. So love it. The Book Shepherd. That's awesome. What a great title. Thanks, Judith. So yeah, I think, again, the idea of, oh, I just want AI to write a book for me. To me, and this may just be a philosophical thing, but for me, I want my books, the purpose of me writing books is to serve the people that read them. And I understand my audience. I understand what they need. This tool can help me come up with ideas, can prompt me, can help me think of things I would have never thought of on my own, can do some of the research for me, all of that. But man, if I'm just using this tool to write a book, then I'm not really a writer. And so I hope that it prompts you and makes you better, makes you more creative, makes you more helpful, helps you serve people better. But I hope that you don't just grab this tool so you can create a book that you somehow think is, I think a book that's completely 100% written by AI isn't going to sell much anyway. So I think the people that are doing that, somebody asked me what I think is going to be the result of this whole AI world, and not QuickWrite specific, just AI when it comes to book writing, because since I help people self-publish books, and I said, I think what it's going to do is I think that in the first couple of years, the world's going to be flooded with a bunch of crappy books that don't help people, books that don't get purchased more than the first 10 or 15 copies. It might have a great title and somebody buys it, but once it gets some bad reviews on Amazon because it really wasn't, oh, this was obviously created by AI, it's gonna be bad. And then people who are actually writers and are using it, it's going to make their books better. So I think people who are writers who want to use it as a tool are going to become better writers. People who just want to use it to make money, they're going to be found out pretty quickly. And they might make a little bit at the beginning, but the people that are reading a book, especially a book that they don't already know the author, they're reading the reviews. And then the last thing I want is somebody to have a review on my Amazon page that says, sure looks like this whole thing was written by AI. I bet this person isn't even a writer. Man, nothing's going to turn people off more quickly. Will this work for children's literature? I would imagine it would work for, I can't imagine why it wouldn't. Because I did put, let's just try something. Okay, I know it's 5:31. Said I was going to try to finish. I'm going to do something. Sue, hopefully this is going to be helpful for you. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to clear this power editor and clear all this content. And I'm going to type in, let's just try it. Write a rhyming story for kids ages 5 to 9 about why sharing is important. Have the theme be games on the playground at school. I don't know. Well, let's see. I mean, I may be shooting myself in the foot ending with this. Right. So, but I've always said being a guinea pig is kind of fun. So let's see what you think, Sue. We'll generate this, see what it comes up, and I'll look to see if there's another question while that's generating content there. You still have to add your voice to the content. Yes, amen. Question on plagiarism answered, and I love the answer because that is what AI is used for, research. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Let's see. Once on the playground at school, the children played and had a ball, but sometimes they would fight and fuss over toys and games and such. One day, Timmy had a toy, a brand new ball that was his joy. He played alone and had some fun, but then some friends came one by one. They asked to play, but Timmy said, no, this ball is mine. It's all I know. His friends looked sad and walked away. Poor Timmy was alone to play. But then his teacher came to say, Timmy, sharing is the only way to make new friends and have them stay on the playground every day. So Timmy thought and changed his mind. He called his friends to come and find that his ball was now for them to share and they could play without a care. The children took turns and had fun, playing in the sun one by one. Timmy's heart felt warm and light. He knew that sharing was just right. Let me see where this is. Just right. So remember, kids, when you play on the playground every day, sharing toys and games is key to having fun and being free. Oh my goodness. I don't know. That just cracks me up. Sue, I hope you like it. I'm going to save that just because I think it's awesome. I'm going to save that in there. I've got the untitled document. I need to, right? What was this? Untitled project. Saved it as untitled project. So cool kids poem. There we go. Save it. There we go. Now let's change the name of it. All right. Well, everybody, feel free to leave other questions in the comments. I may come in tomorrow and just see if there are some other comments that are there. I thank you for being here with us. And Glendon's got that link that you can get QuickWrite for the $300 off price. Again, that changes on Wednesday. The replay is available tomorrow through Sunday. The price change goes up by at least $100, a minimum of $100 next Wednesday, the 15th. So if you want to try that out, then you've got that link. And I'm sure that Glendon will be sending you an email tomorrow, or CJ, or somebody from Adazing. And hope you had some fun. I sure had some fun. And we'll talk to you soon. All right. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.